Hi guys, I'm back. And by popular request, people wanted to know what I thought about Lovecraft Country. So I'm going to do I guess a video about what I think about it and what I see in it and kind of break down and maybe decode a little bit um, as to what I've seen and how it relates to a lot of the things that I have been talking about lately or making videos about lately. Even the book I'm reading about lately has a lot of info that pertains to the show, Lovecraft Country, comes on HBO. So, um, yes, I have I tried to do little baby hairs today. Um, I had to do a wig review on my other channel, so I just left it on. But thank you. So we're going to be talking about Lovecraft Country and how it relates to all that is happening and going on, and the hidden knowledge and the hidden secrets of what's going on. Okay, so the hidden secrets, of course, a lot of them came out in Lovecraft Country as far as how the black and the white um, are intertwined magically, or I'll just say occult wise, because they are. In this book, The Murder of Reality by Pierre Sabak, y'all, I've been promoting this book for a second. But in this book, it kind of breaks down that relationship in code. So basically, the angelic bloodline, or the sacred, or no, I'll just say the angelic bloodline because they're different. Okay. And this is why we have to discuss. So the angelic bloodline would come from what they used to call the Elohim or the Anunnaki, which is not from this world. Okay. So they have a different DNA, they have a different bloodline. And when they, quote unquote, came to earth and made it with the daughters of man, they created another bloodline and race. Okay. So all of this has to do with race, bloodlines, and magic. In Lovecraft Country, they needed Atticus, they needed him to die in order for her to get her father back, or whatever, Adam, the original Adam. So, and his blood basically saved or made that chick, I forgot her name, Christina, immortal after she, sucked in his plasma during the last episode. So, you have to, okay, well, it's going to be spoilers. The series is over. So, don't listen if you're not going to want spoilers. Okay, so he, quote unquote, had to give his blood in order for her to become immortal. And the whole point is to show you that the bloodline that comes directly from the cosmos, or another, Sirius, or, Pleiades, or whatever, different than Earth, somewhere else other than Earth, is immortality. And I'm not breaking down the whole season, I'm just telling you what it basically means. The whole show is basically true. The whole show is true, okay? In the occult world, it's truth. Now, the magic and stuff that you see is more of illusion in this realm. So instead of, having magical powers flying out everywhere, you're not going to be able to see a lot of stuff, but it's through intent and through illusion and trickery, instead of, monsters and stuff flying through the air and powers coming out and doing, this and that. It's more of who illusion, trickery, and lies. okay, and also intent, and also blood, and offspring. So it has to do a lot with this. They just make it more spectacular for television. But everything in there is true. Everything is true. It's always a fight for power. Always. Um, so when the if you saw the last episode when everyone was in the same car together, the Korean girl, the who turns into the monster, um, all the people that were involved in the entire show, that's their family, were in that vehicle, which represented the ascension into a spiritual realm. Okay. And how they all were inside of one vehicle with a quote unquote black driver. Right. So this is the same as when I was telling you guys about how the celebrities do when they send their intentions up into the ether, and they have what they call like a system of hierarchy of whose intentions they send up or who they bring with them energy wise. So this would be a black driver at the bottom, or sometimes they call it a gun. And then in the middle, you might have, let's use I forgot her name, y'all. Please forgive me. I'm not good with names. And I just watched the show and not try to get all the names. So his ex-girlfriend from Korea, she's in there. So she would represent one color. This is how they dress when the celebrities show, who they're bonded with. They'll wear a certain color, like she may be green. And then they'll have another color, and they'll be like, let's say that's his uncle, so it might be black. And then let's say Letty, his girlfriend, she may be representing red. That's why she always has a red. She represents red. The red represents the bloodline, the sacred bloodline, or the holy bloodline. Okay. That's why she was carrying his child. And then up here, you have the two, I think that was it, Ruby, and her name is Ruby. So you would also have another red. And depending on who else is in there, that will be their color. So this is a vehicle or a highway or a transport into the ether's past, the layers to get out of the earth. So let's just say this was, let's just say this color was whatever color this is. This color, this person or this energy would be dissolved upon entering the first ionosphere. So this one will be gone. Bye-bye. And then the next layer would be dissolved by this ionosphere or this layer of the earth. So this one would be resolved. This person would be dissolved. And so all you have left are these people. And let's see, this is Atticus or whoever this would be. This could also be the uncle. So whoever survives, the ascension is whose intentions gets up and who is eternal in the cosmos. You see? So this is what a lot of celebrities dress in different color patterns. Like you'll notice one has on a white hat with black jacket and a white shirt underneath and blue pants and red shoes. So this would be the order of their ascension, and who's going to get sacrificed is usually on the top, the head. That's where the name Ichabod comes from, and the headless horseman. If you read something in the Bible of why, it's very coded. But anyway, thank you, Playboy, Sprinkle. Thank you for making the streets need this information. Thank you, Dork. Hey, Dark Lordism. Thank you. Thank you, Sprinkle. I appreciate that. So a lot of people you'll see in red hats, white hats, or black hats, or so that means that's the person on the top level, and it's going to get erased. Okay, and so you can hear it a lot in the music these days when you hear about. You'll get it if you understand this. Okay, so it also reminds me of T'Challa or Black Panther or Chadwick Boseman. about how he was also, sacrificed, and his wife is now carrying his bloodline or his baby. So it's kind of like the same exact story. Even they mention, what's going to happen to Panther Man towards the beginning of the series. And there's like a comic book about Panther Man. And, the uncle died as well. But Panther Man represents like anything to do with a cat or a panther represents a catapult or also a frequency that pushes you to the next level, magnetically, energetically, electrically, I'll say. So Panther Man, they were given clues of what was going to happen to Chadwick Boseman, because this series came out like right before he left. Okay. And they were given all sorts of clues and hints of things to come. Also, the part where the police officer spit on the little girl's head and she started having all these hallucinations and these, things chasing her that were kind of like minstrel, characters, and she started to turn into one. Well, that spit from that police officer's mouth, because he also knew magic, was his intent, his intentions, his thoughts, his how he feels, like his energy. So when he spat on her forehead, basically it was the type of thing a lot of these celebrities do, where they merge the two energies in their pineal glands. So his thoughts and his intentions towards Black people started to manifest in her mental. And she saw how he saw her, you know what I'm saying? Or what he thought of her or people like her. So, yes, he thought those thoughts, and that's why she was thinking those thoughts, because in his spit, in his DNA, in his energetic, bodily fluid on her forehead, on her pineal gland, it's kind of like the movie Get Out when they were merged through the brain surgery. So that's why she was going through all that, because it was like there was two people in her head, and one has the opposite view of her than she has of herself. So that's why it's kind of like self-hate, or it was, I also think it was very metaphor, like it was a very good metaphor for how, people put certain things in your mind to make you, yeah, sorry, to make you doubt yourself and things like that. Thank you, Sea Star Sprinkle Sprinkle. You felt heavy coating with them theme with the sock red and white one up down. I knew the split had to do with her pineal gland. Yep. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle Sea Star. Yeah, it did. And let's talk about the shape shifting. Y'all want to make fun of my Michael Jackson videos and how they dress up in different costumes and whatnot. Let's talk about that shape shifting, shall we? So in a certain priesthood, in these secret societies, they do tend to shape shift, which means they become other people, whether it's through costumes, prosthetics, or whatever. Like I said, it's more, realistic in real life than just magical potions and spells, So they would merge themselves with each other by drinking some of their bodily fluids. So they used like a vial of her hair or bodily fluids or whatever, for spell work. But the potion that, was given to turn, was it Ruby, into a white lady was probably the bodily fluids or, whatever of the actual person. So, and then to turn back, she would turn back because her DNA would naturally just, take over. So they do this in reality by dressing up as each other and sharing bodily fluids or drinking each other's blood or, merging with each other with sexual intercourse or whatever. But like I said, they also have this thing where in the Freemasons, you have a I don't know, I guess that's why they call it, you have like a brother or a twin aspect of yourself. One is a different race than you, and one can help you, and one can also keep you in reality. So it's kind of like um, the Christina and the Ruby relationship, okay? Because at some point, this person is more powerful, and then on the other side, this person is also powerful because of their blood and their energy and their eternal, bloodline. So they use each other. They use each other for favor in the physical world, and then they use like Ruby or the black people for favor in the spiritual realm or the magical realm. So it's kind of like this: you give me this, I'll give you that. You give me this, I'll give you that. But at the same time, instead of trying to make, like in the show, instead of trying to make positive change for this person in the real world, they keep they don't care enough, so they keep things the way they are, and they just use their energy versus trying to fix the problem. Okay, and you can see this in the presidential election. Um, they just want to use the black vote, but don't want to change any of the problems that have to do with anything. Like us, if you watched any of the videos that I posted in the community section, you'll see that even Joe Biden is very racist. So at the end of the day, he's using the black vote as well as people, hundreds and thousands, and I guess millions of people who are going to vow, which is what vote means, to him, which is spiritual as well. They're going to vow their energy and their devotion to him. Um, thank you, Rad. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So you're giving your energy and your approval and your positive intentions to someone when you vote for them. And it's very energetic and it is very magical. That's why a lot of certain people do not vote as far as political voting. Yeah, so a lot of the shape shifting and things like that happens for real, but not magically but with costumes and prosthetics and even just whatever. Okay, the Hippolyta episode. Okay, so that's basically when you die, you can basically create the next life that you desire. Or you can basically use, that's kind of like my dark energy manifestation book. You can basically name the thing that you want and understand that you are in control of it and only you. And when you get to that level of consciousness and you're able to basically manifest things, or it goes deeper. Like if you die, let's say you die, you don't have to reincarnate, but you can if you want, or you can go live any experience you desire because you have that bloodline and you have that technology within your DNA. So you can do that. But a lot of people don't get enough spiritual knowledge to understand how powerful they are, because people lie to the masses in order to keep continuing to use them, the bloodlines. So once you come to that level of consciousness and know that you can pretty much say whatever you want, be whoever you want in the next life or in another universe or whatever, then you can just go do it. But until you realize, until you know your own power, you're kind of like, you don't know. But once you know it, you can pretty much tap into anything and get any type of knowledge. They call the Akashic records. Yeah. So Letty comes in as like this sacred bloodline. And I think we're going to learn more about Letty in the next season, because there's a reason her and her sister look a little bit different. Okay, I'm sure her dad is probably Caucasian. And through the mixing of these two, races, you mix a bloodline. Okay, and when you mix a bloodline, depending on Letty is his girlfriend, is Atticus's girlfriend who's pregnant. When you mix a bloodline, especially if one of the bloodlines are from the Elohim or the Anunnaki or the aliens or whatever you want to call them, and then one is from man or Adam, which I'm sure it's going to be. Okay, you have this angelic, I'll say, bloodline. And then you have a man bloodline. Okay. Now, when these two mix, this one is most likely going to be Rh negative, just so you guys are understanding. This is mostly going to be Rh negative blood, and this is just probably going to be positive blood, right? So a lot of times this doesn't work out, especially in the old days before they had, the shot that they give them, the Rogam shot. So a lot of this created miscarriage, right? But when it did not have a miscarriage by some, miracle, the child that was born with both bloodlines would be considered holy or sacred. Okay, so this would be a black Rh negative. Okay, because it would be from the angelic and from man. So this is why Letty has all these, advantages. Like she had the power, and like she had the power to tell the ghosts to go away or the demons to go away, and she had that invincibility spell because she's from both bloodlines. She's from both sides. But I think we're going to see a lot of her in the future, and she has a very important role. Plus, she's carrying the angelic bloodline, okay, of Atticus, which is also just like her. So her bloodline and the son actually wrote the book Lovecraft Country that his dad is reading, Atticus is reading. So it's from the future. There's time travel in here. Because, yeah, there's time travel in there. So the sacred bloodlines are very important to certain people because they needed to live and to continue their life, and also to be able to come back as they wish or go wherever they want, like Hippolyta. They can't do that. And at the end, all the power and the magic was taken away from Christina, as well as all the other people of her bloodline. I guess they said all the white people will lose their magic towards, at the end of that show. And the black people got the magic. So they got control of it. They got control of the system, basically. They got control of the power. So that's kind of what's happening right now. And during the shift in 2020, the powers are being shifted over once again. So thank you, Queen Bee. Why did they have sex when she was on her period? Oh, that's in this book too. A lot of the stuff that, a lot of this stuff is from the minstrel. A lot of the magic that's done in these occults are from the sacred woman's minstrel, or the angelic woman's minstrel blood, because there are stem cells in there, if you didn't know. Scientifically, there are stem cells in menstrual blood, which include DNA, include regeneration. Stem cells are used a lot for regeneration, youth elixirs, and things like that in medicine. So yes, the stem cells, the angelic blood, the stem cells. I'm late to the party. Shira, what show are we talking about? Oh, and I don't know who you're talking about with the I don't know who had sex on their period on the show. I think she was just a virgin if you're talking about Letty. Okay, and she just lied to him and told him that. Thank you, Nina. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm late to the party. Hey, what's Lovecraft Country? It's in the title. Thank you, girl. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So, yeah, he took her virginity, basically. So she would be the virgin mother. She would represent the Mother Mary, the virgin, the holy, sacred mother. That's who Letty represents, okay? So everything boils down to everything in the occult, everything that they kind of hide, and the secret societies in the world. This is how they work. It's the same exact way, except, like I said, not, fantasy magic, but real intentions, real forms of lies, cover-ups, deceit, illusion, and dressing up as each other sometimes. Yes. That's why when I put that MJ video about how he could be dressed up as this person or that person, a lot of people don't understand that because they don't understand the secret societies and what they do and how they've been pulling the veil over people's eyes for thousands of years. Okay. So, just like we can go and be anybody we choose in the spiritual realm, or after we die, or even just in our imagination, they don't have that opportunity. So they want to step into our shoes on earth and allow us to step into their shoes, because they can't do that, unless they have the angelic bloodline. So this is why they do this. This is why they trade places sometimes. Just like that movie Trading Places. This is why they trade places sometimes, because they don't have the same ability as, let's say, the Hippolyta character has in order to name themselves. So they have to name themselves with illusion. Okay? So yeah, they can't create any real events like we can with the angelic bloodline. So they have to create false flag events. And if they can get the masses, especially the people with the angelic bloodline, to believe these events as true in their memory and their DNA, then somewhere in time, because remember, time does not exist, we will create it for them. This is why I keep telling y'all, stop being so easily tricked and gullible, because what you don't want to see is what you are creating. Thank you, Vegan Pop Star. Sure, love your content. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, I'll touch on that Roseanne Barr later. I decoded it in the comments if you just go look under my video. She was basically telling the same thing. Y'all better drink some blood or hitch a ride. That's all she was saying, because this shift is going to be very powerful. Get ready to see some stuff being revealed. That's all she basically said. Okay, so a lot of people are confused about what all these things mean. You just have to get out of whatever you've been told and go do your own research with conviction. That's all I'm going to say, because people are too lazy and they depend on your laziness and ignorance in order to keep you asleep. Okay. Thank you, Queen V. You said when she came drinking blood, after saying for that man when she drinks pee. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying this is what they do in the occult. Yeah, whatever's in that vial is blood, whatever type of bodily fluids from the actual people that they are turning into or that they are living through. So it could be any type of bodily fluid. Yes. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. It could be that. It could be a mix of them all. Who knows? But it's some of their bodily fluids. So, right. Eumelanated means brown, black, melanin. So definitely, if you believe the illusions that they create, you create the illusions so that they are real in time. You understand? So when you die, your DNA, your information, your plasma goes up into the cosmos as a memory, as a chip, as a memory chip, let's say. And the events that you witnessed in your life is going to be noted and created because according to your DNA and your memory, this holds true with you. You see? But if you're awoke and you know it's fake, then now, see, this is the trick. Enough people are awake you know how they're fact checking on Instagram? Enough people with the angelic bloodline are awake to fact check those who are asleep in the cosmos when they pass. Okay. So it doesn't matter how many people believe whatever they've been told. The people that are awake will fact check and dispel all of that information so that it will remain an illusion. It will remain fake. So that's why they get upset when a lot of people say, oh, it's fake. And they allow people to, express their feelings and do these vigils. And they have commemorations of anniversaries of all their false flags and stuff like that, because they want to embed that into your, DNA, into your memory, so that when you pass to the other side, you can recreate it as reality. Okay. So please, when something comes on the TV, anything, don't ever take it as truth. I'm just trying to, unless it's local weather, doubt it, please, and go do your own research. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, I don't watch Doctor Who. I am so sorry, but thank you, Ashton Smith. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Maybe I'll check it out though. I might need something else to watch now, since this season is over with Lovecraft Country. Okay, so right. So now that the angelic bloodlines, a lot of them are sacrificed or killed in a lot of events and stuff like that. This is why Trump said, who built those cages? He was talking code about the ionosphere. Once so many people die, they start creating the next ionosphere with their plasma in order for your soul to leave and come from the earth. So if most of your people are plasma, in plasma form or in soul form in the heavens above the earth, if those are most of your people, then those represent cages or gates for other people. You know what I'm saying? So if you are in charge of the gates of who can come in and come out, and most of those people are you melanated people or Black people, who do you think they're going to let in and who do you think they're going to keep out? You know what I'm saying? So this is why that they need that blood to drink, because it's almost like plasma and energy. You don't see the actual person, but you get the actual frequency and vibration, which is where the blood comes in. Right? Shu, do you think the book of names is symbolic for ancient Egyptian African knowledge that was stolen from our ancestors? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yes, the names, you know how when she said you can name yourself anything, names have to do with who you are, who you can become, what you can create, your connection to the cosmos, your you melanin. Names, books, and words all represent Black people. Okay. Anytime you see this is code, name, word, book, writing, all of that means Black people, right? Because it's what's created, and it's this story. And Black people are the angelic bloodline. That's what they're trying to tell you. So on the flip side, on Earth, okay, they have what they call I don't know what they knew. Let's just say the white and angelic bloodline, the people that stole the DNA. Like, let's say the royal family, for example. That's why they have Rh negative blood, because that blood was stolen. And the hidden bloodline. Okay, I did a whole video about the hidden bloodline, and it's even in the Bible. The hidden bloodline was to protect certain people from being washed away or from being targets. So I mentioned this, that West African people and African American people that came from that coast as well have this hidden bloodline. Okay. And it is the Elohim bloodline, or the Rh negative bloodline, that is under a membrane and, in the blood cell. And when they test the blood, it tests Rh positive. But if you surpass that first membrane and then retest, it tests Rh negative. So it is the veil, or the veiled tabernacle, as they would call it, in one of the biblical quotes. I'm going to see I forgot what it was. But basically, they talk about it in the Bible and you don't really even know. But it's the Ark of the Covenant. Y'all ever want to figure out what the Ark of the Covenant is? It is the hidden bloodline. That's why they carried it on 2 sticks, which represents the DNA, in a box, a rectangle box, and they shielded it with 2 cherubim. When cherubim represent lion with human heads and wings. So that lions are protecting of the goddess, and lions also line something. It's like a protection or a lining. So the lions on top would represent the lining or the membrane or the veil on top. And then inside of the, also the Sphinx will protect the pyramid, the pyramid, the fire, star, and midsection. That represents the female. It goes deep, especially when you read this book. It represents the fire star, which represents the menstruating female, or the lining of the uterus. It represents that. And so that's why the Sphinx protects it, or is in front of it. So yes, the Ark of the Covenant is the hidden bloodline. Because like I said, they always say, oh, most of the Rh negative people on Earth live in Europe, or but that's not true anymore, because there's a hidden bloodline, the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant means you can't test the bloodline and get accurate answers, because there is a veil or a thin membrane that is hiding the other true bloodline of the Elohim. So that's what that means. And there's scientific proof to back that up. If you just go and research hidden bloodline or hidden blood or something like that, they'll talk about it. And I also did a whole video on it. So God is not like the supreme creator God that when they speak about a God, their God is basically their leader. You know what I'm saying? So their God would represent whoever is in charge of them as a whole. Okay. The name of the book is The Murder of Reality by Pierre Sabak. It's pretty much written in code, but it breaks down the etymology of a lot of stuff. If you don't know code, you're going to have a hard time understanding what's really being said in this book. That's why I say you got to learn code even just to read books on code sometimes. So, but if you can keep up with my videos and you understand the code, you can probably understand it in there. Plus, I've explained most of the code words in that book anyway. You take a blood test. That's how you find out your blood type. So your blood type will tell you. Okay, so the Ark of the Covenant is a hidden bloodline. I will repeat this. The Ark of the Covenant represents a hidden bloodline, which means when you get tested for your blood type and they come back and tell you, oh, you are Rh positive, B positive, they're going to say you're B positive, A positive, or whatever. And lots of people that are descendants of West Africa, the Dogon tribe were one of the original Rh negative people, as well as a lot of people of Chad, Morocco, So that bloodline was stolen and taken elsewhere. Okay. And every time, it was taken elsewhere and into Europe. And so, and there's a part in the Bible that talks about it. This bloodline was then hidden among the actual descendants of the Elohim to protect it from being stolen or, erased. So if you go get your blood tested and they only test the outside membrane of your blood, they're going to tell you you're positive, whatever, positive. If they tell you you're negative, then you're not a hidden bloodline because you're probably a mixture and it came out within your DNA. But they said if they bypass that first membrane, there's a second membrane, and that majority of anyone with West African descent or who live in West Africa are now testing positive. Their alleles are testing positive for Rh negative. It is the hidden bloodline, aka the Ark of the Covenant. And I probably was going to do a whole video on that, but that is why they needed Atticus, because he represented the Ark of the Covenant, and so did his wife. I mean, not his wife, his girlfriend Letty, because that's why they needed his blood. Okay? And that's why it's hidden inside. So the Bible is all code, and it's all esoteric occult knowledge, everything. If you think you're a good God-fearing Christian person, you're still doing the same exact things and learning the exact same stuff as someone who, let's say, worships Satan. Y'all are part of the same exact cult, and you worship the same things, but in just different words, with different words. Okay? So it's all the same thing. Just like we can shapeshift or name ourselves in the cosmic realm, we can name ourselves pretty much anything and live that experience. We named ourselves who we are right now to learn a lesson and to experience things and to also gather knowledge. This is what the Hippolyta episode was about, because when she came back, she had all this information and knowledge so that she could help other people, right. And that whole changing from woman to man, she changed into her brother and then into herself, which was Christina. That has to do with what they call the I guess they call it a transgender priesthood that they have in the order of this secret society, but it doesn't have anything to do with the actual. It's kind of like the Hermes, lives 7 years as a woman after striking 2 snakes mating, and then back to a man. It's kind of like living in someone else's shoes or naming yourself, but on the planet, because they can't do it for real in the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? So they only can use what they have on Earth. So this is why you'll see some people dressing up like this way, and then this doing this and doing that, because especially in the high society occults, a lot of times like these celebrities will do this, and some people won't even know it's them. Some people will, but since they can't name themselves, they can name themselves and create this on the planet Earth physically in the physical realm. Yes. So let's say when you die, if you want to go live a life as a man, you can do that and still come back and be a woman whenever you want. Cosmically, spiritually, you can have different lives that you choose. But if you are trapped on the earth because you can't leave, and you can't leave and go out to do those things, then you have to do them in the physical rather than in the spiritual sense. Okay. Explain the elevator meaning: descent, ascension, and descension. The elevator represents the ascension and the descension, which is evolving and devolving. Evolving and devolving. That's why they had that. She was a Native American and she was like a hermaphrodite. And she was down in the basement or wherever that was. And she was like not dead, but not alive. You see what I'm saying? Um, she was the physical form of the Holy Mother. She was the physical form of the Holy Cosmic Mother God, Father, Mother God. You know what I'm saying? So she was the physical version of it because in the cosmos, in the heavens, um, the energy of the mother and the let's just use the ocean as an example. This is why they always call the cosmos the ocean because it's very similar. So in the ocean, there was both the ocean was both female and male because you would have whatever sperm floating around in the ocean, and then you would have eggs floating around in the ocean, which when they met, they created a life. Okay. So when animals started leaving the ocean, that's when they started splitting into genders. And then they would have to fertilize each other. So the cosmos is like an ocean, but it's both female and male, but it's also a womb. So it's mostly female. And so they try to when a hermaphrodite would represent the physical version of that, not the cosmic version of it. So that's why they used her. And that's why she was killed. That's why Atticus's dad killed her at the end. Before he went up the elevator, because he realized that was just a physical aspect of they were trying to recreate God and the cosmos and that energy through this person. Because a lot of the splicing and genetics were done by these scientists back in the day to try to evolve humanity in order to become just like the angelic beings, but they couldn't and keep their own identity. So that's why the holy or the sacred blood, the holy and the sacred union creates the angelic human, which is of earth and of the sky. So you have when earth meets the heavens, and that's basically everyone mixing. So that's what it basically means. Uh-huh. Um, yeah, read the book. It'll be very eye-opening, The Murder of Reality. But so the whole Lovecraft Country is basically all that in code and basically not in code and just telling you the entire story of how things really work and why people want your blood and your magic and your to keep you oppressed because and not knowing who you are so that they can use it and create what they want through you because they can't create like you can, okay, cosmically. um the serpent's language is simply code. Learn code and you got it. Okay. Learn to decode using etymology. Read that book that I just told you about, and that's how you learn it. It's just breaking down the etymology of words and the different languages that also use the same type of roots or bases of words and how it all means the same thing. Um, so, sure, do you think mermaids are real? Mermaids represent the merge of the mermaids is like the fish and the human together, and the hairy fish, represents when the angelic bloodline fell and mated with a mammal, which is a humanoid. So, the reptilian aspect of that would be the fish, or the amphibious, because sometimes they have feet and they're hairy. So it represents the merge of the angels and the humans having a child. Okay, so technically, we are mermaids. If you are Yeah, a hybrid, that's all it represents. But at the same time, it also represents genetic experimentation or creating a race of, of humanoids. I'll say that, humanoid. Hmm. So that's what it's code for. Hmm. I need to look it up again. Right. So just remember, like the basics are basic, but then you have to keep going even further until you get to this secret, what they call serpent knowledge of the occult, of the secret societies that they have, because it goes even deeper. But once you learn it all, at the end of the day, it always leads back to a sacred woman or a sacred goddess, or trying to bring heaven and earth together, or trying to just think about alchemy, trying to turn lead into gold, trying to turn human into angel. And so this is why they have a lot of the interracial commercials and shows now that are pushing towards mixing race, because they're trying to evolve to um, bring heaven and earth together, which is what that means, or to turn into the other person, alchemically, physically, and then cosmically. So that's why they use the butterfly as a symbolism, because it's like going through the stages of, the cocoon, and, then going through all the different stages and then becoming a butterfly, which means you are finally free. So it's the ultimate physical and spiritual alchemy to go from black to white, or from white to black. That's the fall or the rise. So let's just say you have a white person, and then they marry a black person, and they have an offspring, which is a mixed child. And then that mixed child marries a black person, and then that child is like, what, 75% black. And then they marry a black person, and their child is mostly black now. And so they're able to all the way transcend through that DNA and that bloodline. And then the opposite is how you fall. Okay. So that would be like a white person and a black person. And then the mixed child would marry a white person. And then that white person would be 75% white. And then they would marry another white person. Then they'd probably be all white. And that's how you fall. That's how angels fall. So I told you the whole Bible has to do with race, ascension, alchemy, and the ability to create in the cosmos through, you know, that energy. So that's why a lot of people are also incarcerated, because physically they're, if you can't leave the cosmos and go create, you are incarcerated. So that's why they choose to incarcerate a lot of the angelic beings, because when they die, this is what they told them in slavery as well. When they die, you're free. You have the heavens, you have the afterlife, which is the truth. You do. Like when you die, you can come back as whatever you want. So Get Out is about Kanye West. Well, a lot of the people in the entertainment industry have to make deals with certain people, because they want the fame on earth, and they want to be like gods on earth. So they have to, what they call, dance with the devil. And I already explained that in one of my other videos. That's why they had to learn the magic and the knowledge from Christina in Lovecraft Country. But then when they learned it, they went and used it against her. You see, so it's kind of like that. So a lot of artists think that they could get in, dance with the devil, and then come out on top, which a lot of them do. But then some of them don't. Some of them fall, as I'll call it. And some of them are paid to fall, and they understand this. But if they are in this secret society and they know all this knowledge, it's in their DNA. And so if they, or when they do reincarnate and they've written it down, and I don't know, they may understand or figure out how to rise again. hmm So that's why you have a lot of the church songs is, we fall down, but we get up. It's the same thing. And meanwhile, people are role playing in the physical on earth. hmm How do you know your favorite celebrity? They all have. That's how you know. They all, if they're celebrities, they all made it. They all made the deal. Some people got out of the deal though. Some people outsmarted and got out of the deal. And um, basically, if they're high up and they own their own stuff, they're out of the deal. They got out of the deal. They don't need if they don't need the other party anymore. They're out of the deal. They figured it out. So you got to basically top. You have to top your industry. hmm You said, what about white celebrities? White celebrities, they are more likely to make deals with black celebrities to get their blood in order to manifest and recreate and free themselves later on down the line from this role. Because like in the entertainment industry, that's why acting is like major. That's why Hollywood is like the center of it all, because they have to role play the lives or name themselves through movies, through scripts, through characters. They can't reincarnate as whoever they like. So they have to do it through Hollywood. And Hollywood is, the whole tree, the holly tree or the berries from the holly, they start off white, but then they turn red. So it's like the way into the alchemy in order to transform. And so they have to meet in the middle, which is okay, well, you're on earth. And since you have incarnated here as this being, we can't do that. So we have to have movies. Okay. And we have to have, we have to do this and that. So if you want in, then we need to make a deal. So the Hollywood industry is heavily based on the wish and the fantasy of being able to name yourself as the angels and the angelic beings and the cosmic beings can naturally do in the spirit world. Okay. So now you have to play their game and give them what they want. But at the end of the day, you can't fall all the way because you can always get right back out. So you'll hear a lot of that in some people's music. The Ark of the Covenant is not a bad thing. I don't know how you got that from there. It's the hidden bloodline. That's all it is. It's a hidden bloodline so people don't exploit it. That's all it is. It's kind of like hiding a secret so they can't take it from you. It's like hiding something so it can't be stolen. And also so we can grow in number without people realizing it. It's like a secret army. It's like a secret society within your DNA. Okay. It's what gives you yeah. So just think of it that way. Hiding in plain sight. Exactly. hmm Um, we said, was slavery and oppression meant to happen written in books, or was it a trick? The Book of Enoch said he woke up crying at the end, maybe because he saw this would happen before mixing. Well, honestly, the whole slavery thing and the whole army thing and the military thing is also a way for this DNA and this bloodline to get to different lands, okay, under a guise. Under a guise. So even though it was done maliciously and there was a lot of bad things that happened, the backfiring was to bring this bloodline over here. Okay, so you know how there's always whatever bad thing you do will backfire on you. It's kind of like that. It's like they thought they were going to get free labor, but what ended up happening is that they ended up bringing this bloodline over here and creating this race of people that had the connection on both sides, so they could maneuver a lot easier in the cosmos and on Earth, kind of like a double agent that they've created against themselves. So it kind of backfired. Everything that might seem negative, there's always a hidden meaning behind it and an advantage if you are understanding of the knowledge. So, and it also was put in place to also make you understand, um, how you are viewed, even though you are supposed to be angelic and you're supposed to be this cosmic being that they imitate through, the entertainment industry. It shows you how they really feel about that. And instead of wanting to become you, um, secretly, a lot of the masters in the slave plantations were Freemasons. So they already knew that their offspring that they put inside the woman, a slave woman, if by rape, they would eventually have the freedom in the cosmos because that those people would be segregated and unable to mix for so many years that they would free you know, their soul through the enslavement of Black people. Okay, they already knew this alchemy. They already knew it. That's why they did it. So yeah. hmm Yeah, the police are also a fraternal order. If y'all didn't know that, the police are also a fraternal order. They're not just, it's not just a job. If you go look it up online, the police are a fraternal order. They have things to accomplish. Okay? Just understand that. And a lot of people don't understand this because they don't do enough research. They don't ask themselves any questions. They just go by what the TV told them or what whoever told them. They don't do research, which is exactly why people can lie to your face and you believe them. Everything is hidden. Everything is secret. Everything is veiled. Once you realize that, you can't be lied to anymore because you'll learn the language, you'll learn how to decode, and you won't take anything at face value anymore because you know who you are. And that's why I'm saying it's very important to learn how to code. It's very important to watch things in a certain manner. And it's very important to not be lazy as when it comes to knowledge, not just to believe, even if a person that looks like you said it, research it still. Okay, because they could be repeating what they've heard or what they've been paid to say via a deal that they have made. Okay, so you need to go do your own research. Yes. And so many people are asleep. They won't wake up. You can't wake them up, even if you explain it, prove it on paper. They're just not there. They ain't there. It's not their fault. It's just they're programmed. And it's usually a lot of people who are much older or who are very skeptical in general. They're not going to believe you. Don't waste your time on that. Just understand for yourself. And once what you say starts coming to light or coming true, they're going to believe you anyway. I've been talking about this stuff for a long time, and now you're seeing it in movies, you're seeing it in real life, you're seeing the illusion, you're seeing the mass lies that are being told in the media, you are seeing all the false flags are being proven. And so there's no need to keep even going unless those people want to remain ignorant. It's their choice now. Ignorance is now a choice. There are some people that don't want to believe the truth, but don't want to find the evidence to tell you that you're wrong. Instead, they believe what they're told, and that is it, because they have been brainwashed to not do any research, but to just believe. Okay? So those type of people are basically choosing to remain ignorant, even though there's question, and not just from one person, but from a lot of people. So those people remain ignorant on their own account. And when you choose to remain ignorant, that is your choice for whatever conscious reason that is going on with you at the time. That's your choice to remain ignorant or to get the information just to even disprove it, because a real skeptic will get the information to disprove it. But someone that just wants to remain ignorant won't even get the information to disprove it. They'll just continue to believe the lie. So I would rather speak to a skeptic than someone who's just ignorant. Okay. Thank you, Candace. Why do celebrities and public figures are portraying themselves as a different gender? Because it's the trends. It's a priesthood. It's a secret society that they join, and that's part of the initiation rituals or the rituals to ascend in the order. That's why. Okay. So sprinkle, sprinkle. It's in that book, The Murder of Reality. It's also, just go and research all the different priesthoods and secret societies. There's so many. And also they want to make you feel how it feels to have to play the role, because you can't really manifest the role in a separate life on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So it's like walk in our shoes for a second. It's like, see, we want to be a woman in our next lifetime, but sometimes we don't have the choice or the option to choose, but y'all do. So walk in my shoes, even though you don't want to be a woman, and see if you come back as a woman and see how you really feel. So it's kind of like letting someone walk in your shoes to get the understanding and the sympathy in order to see, it's a basic cry for, please help free me. Help free me. Give me your blood. Help me get to the next level. Help me ascend cosmically in my future. Okay, so they want you to walk around in their shoes to see how they feel. So that's why. And I think if you switch sides, and say, okay, well, how would I feel if I were trapped and I couldn't name myself or reincarnate at will as what I wanted to in A, B, C, and D? How would I express myself after lifetime of not having a choice? Okay. That's why the whole abortion issue is also code for not having a choice on how to be born or when to be born. Okay. Because it goes deeper than just the physical aspect of it. It's the spiritual aspect of it as well. So if you don't have a choice of when you're going to be born, how you're going to be born, what gender you're going to be born as, then your DNA memory is going to keep adding up. And that's why you have a lot of people that are mentally unstable, a lot of serial killers, and a lot of people saying, oh, well, I can't I feel like I'm born in the wrong body, because perhaps they really wanted to be something or wanted to name themselves something, and they were used to naming themselves, but they fell and now they can't name themselves anymore, or they didn't have enough cosmic DNA to name themselves whatever they wanted, so they had to come back as whatever they could come back as, and then instead of just being upset, they physically did something about it. So I feel that it's a lot of people that are unable to control how they are reborn. So that makes sense. Yeah. And so, when we leave and go to the heavens, or when we shift cosmically, because just like everything else, there's a cosmic and a spiritual earth, and there's a physical earth and a spiritual earth. Okay. And when we name, we can name the world as well. We can name our world as well, if enough people understand this and vibrate on a certain frequency. That's why we also use trickery as well to get the same effect. And if you have, thank you, Medina, sprinkle, sprinkle. If you have enough of someone's DNA or blood in you, even if you drank it or have it in you, plasma, in plasma form, when that earth, that spiritual aspect of earth is named or starts to vibrate on a whole different frequency, if you have enough of that DNA, plasma, blood, sacred bloodline, you too can also be transferred or recreated with it. You can also go too. Thank you, Medina. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So that's what they call the new world, the new heaven and the new earth. So it's basically the new heaven is the new type of people, and the new earth are the other, the new type of earth people, which are earth people represent white people. The heavens represent the black people. So you have a new type of man and a new type of angel. You have a new type of earth man and you have a new type of angelic. So when you bring the earth and the heavens together, it is the sacred bloodline. So that's what they're trying to create. I think they said it, and also in the Gospels of Thomas, when you make the two into one, then you can enter into the kingdom, which is king represents soul, and you're going to get a soul. Okay. And a soul is just a cosmic being that can, it's like Neo from the Matrix, that can go in and out at will. Okay. What about biracial? What race? I just told y'all. Did y'all not listen? I guess I got to get my board out. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. But I see when I speak, y'all don't understand. So I have to break it down in kindergarten terms. Okay. A black person and a white person make a baby. They got a mixed baby. Black person is angel or cosmic. White person is earth. Mixed together, they are both. The heaven and earth together. They are the frequency of both. They can go both ways, either way. Depending on who they procreate with and make children with, depends on their DNA rising or falling. Falling means mixing out of their race all the way back to white. Rising or ascending means mixing all the way back into black. If you keep it in the middle, you will always have access to both sides. Okay. But sometimes it's a gamble because you don't know what your offspring is going to do and who they're going to marry and who they're going to have kids with. That's why you have a lot of people that have secret children with other races, because they understand this knowledge. So basically, if you're mixed, you can go either way. But if your offspring decides to go another way, then it's a gamble. Okay. It's a big gamble. You said Mariah Carey came to mind. Yeah. So it's a big gamble. So a lot of people put in, like if they're rich, if you're rich, a lot of people put, or they strongly want you to marry a certain type or a certain type of person. And so they say, you need to marry this type of person or have a child outside of wedlock with this type of person. I don't care. Just go get, that's why they have a lot of people sending soldiers to different parts of the world. So they can do their little business down there, get somebody pregnant, and then come back to the United States. That's how they send melanin around the world as well. Before they did it, through slavery. Now they're doing it through the military. So let's say a bunch of soldiers get stationed in Korea, just like on, Lovecraft Country. Let's say a lot of those soldiers made, babies with those women, and now that seed is spread over there. So a lot of people join the military to spread seeds. Well, this is why they really just ship you everywhere, because the whole agenda is to spread your seed around the earth. Okay. And they do this through the military. Yeah, Chris Brown and Dre. Yeah, Chris Brown, his I guess his friend, Young Thug, probably supplies him blood plasma to drink. or whatnot because he doesn't have enough, I guess, because he mixed out. Okay. Mhm. So you got to make sure you understand which way and which direction your offspring is going to go because that depends on your rise or your fall cosmically, you know. And through your and through that DNA, if you ever try to reincarnate through that DNA, and you don't have anybody to reincarnate into because everybody in your bloodline or everybody in your DNA is now white, then you may not come back. You might just come back as a spirit halfway and influence certain people. You might just come back as like they call them a jinn. Sometimes you can do it physically, become a physical spirit um, as well, which represents you'll reincarnate as a white person, but you'll still think black and you'll try to influence the system for your own people. So you'll have some people that are doing a lot of things for certain people, and then they marry a black person, and even though they're white, and they try to hurry up and mix back in, and so on and so forth. They find the darkest woman who can give the most melanin, and they get that DNA and that ticket back into the cosmos real quick. Okay, so this is what you'll see a lot of, like people doing. Okay. As long as you're mixing back in, you're rising. If you're mixing out, you're falling. That's all you got to know. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's about you, and also you being able to reincarnate through your bloodline. So, if you have a long history of, people staying within their own race in your family DNA, then that's most likely what it's going to continue to do. But that's why the whole, desegregation and legal marriage between white and black in the United States happened when it happened. They strategically planned to keep you separated so that the slave masters and the forefathers' DNA could come to pass. You know what I'm saying? So their offspring could come to pass so they could be free cosmically. And then they put the Jim Crow laws back on during the civil rights movement to then strengthen the angelic bloodline again. I'm trying to tell y'all what they be doing. So it was illegal for whites and blacks to marry in the United States for a long period of time. So they were strengthening the black angelic bloodline for so long. And then right around the late 60s and early 70s is when they got that cosmic signal that came in, that first gamma ray blast, telling them what time it was, and there was, things were about to change on the earth physically. And, that's kind of like a warning. And so that's when they started doing the desegregation and allowing people to marry of different races, because now it was time that the bloodline was more pure. Now they could really free themselves cosmically if they were to, intermingle and create children. So that's all it is. And a lot of people don't understand this because they are unaware of all of this knowledge, because a lot of, for the most part, it's hidden, or you have to really search it out to understand it and know it. And at the end of the day, either you're too busy or too tired or don't care enough to go do it. And so you just remain a controlled person and, don't really understand why things are happening, but you still have the anger and the emotion, and you believe the events that are being orchestrated, and that's part of your reality now. hmm we are all the same if we all it's not that we're the same, it's that we could be. That's what I'm saying. We could be the same. We are not all the same, but we could be. That's what people mean when they say we're all the same. It's saying we could be the same, because That's a lie, and people know that. When they say that, they just don't want to face the reality of the truth. Okay. And I understand that more than anybody. It's a way to say, I'm different, but I accept you, or we're different, but we have the same struggle. Yours is cosmic or spiritual, and ours is physical. So we are the same in a struggle aspect, for some of us, but we are not the same type of being, because we could be. That's the point. That's the whole thing. We could be, but we are not. So we have we have the same understanding of certain things, but we don't have the same, you know, freedoms. I'll say that we don't have the same freedoms. Mhm. The vegan movement is also code, but it's also to help you vibrate on a higher frequency, which helps to enhance your melanin, which then makes your plasma a lot more higher in frequency, so that you can transcend into the next reality that is being created. Okay. hmm And remember when I told you about the fish and the mermaid and the serpent race and the mammal or humanoid? Where the mammal, if you eat meat and you eat mammal, that represents like earth, or it's dead bodies, it's death. So when you eat vegetables, it's like the living, or there's life, there's chlorophyll in there. So it's almost like the same thing. Are you choosing life or death? Are you choosing to fall or rise? So it's almost that as well in a diet aspect. And so everything is pretty much alchemy. Everything is controlled. People are trying to control the ascension in every way, dietary, politically, um, physically, and spiritually, by creating false flags. So at the end of the day, you got to do your own research, know who you are, and understand that even though we could be the same, some of us are not. And we both face struggles, but our struggles are different, but very similar at the same time. Okay. hmm You said Earth is kind of boring. Right. You hope colorism, aka separating agenda, stops in India. It's in Africa. Okay, so yeah, once everyone is the same, it'll stop. But remember who controls the physical aspect. Once enough people, once enough people become like what they call the in the sacred bloodline. Once enough people mix, and it's the norm, colorism will go away, because there won't be a need for colorism anymore. Why? Because they won't see you as this or that, what they've been programmed to see you as. They won't see you that way, because everyone will look very similar. Okay, then you will truly be one, because you will be in similar skin tone. Okay, because see, on the planet Earth, on the Earth, is controlled by a group of people that are of the Earth, and the cosmos is controlled by the people of the cosmos. But the Earth is in the cosmos. Do you see? But while on Earth, if you don't know who you are, if you don't understand illusion, if you don't understand all of this, then you will fall for that, and you fall for that trick. But if you know who you are and you understand who you are and you face colorism, you'll know that the amount of melanin you have, or the darker your skin is, the closer you are to the cosmos, or to being angelic. Okay, and then why you are disrespected and treated a certain way is because in their DNA, in their subconscious mind, they know who you are. Okay. They might not know it consciously, but they feel some type of way around you because your frequency is highly electromagnetic. Okay. And it's basically you're giving off a vibe or an energy that is more harmful to them than um, healthy, because you radiate. You're radiant. You're a light being, and you radiate literally electromagnetic energy. That's why when you always saw angels, they had this radiation or this halo or this glow around them. Because if you look at people on a electromagnetic frequency, let's say you got some visual electromagnetic goggles and you look at people, the black people are going to be shining brighter than any other race. Okay. And you already know this because it's science. Go get you some of them goggles, those night vision goggles where it detects energy and light, and go look at black people and then go look at white people and you'll see. That's just the science and the energy of it. It's not about, this person is better than the next. It's about the rise and the fall and how to get back or to bring the heavens to the earth. That's it. That's all it's about. If you fight about race and things like that, it's because you don't know who you are and you don't know what the goal is. So, like I said, the goal for most people is just to be able to name themselves, right? Another goal is if you want to come back to this amusement park, is what they call it. You want to come back to Earth as you want access to ride all the rides free, and you want to leave whenever you want. That means you want to bring the heaven and the earth together. You want to have ties on both sides. So it's your choice, but you shouldn't feel any type of way. If you understand all of this, you should understand the rise and the fall, why people act a certain way, why people are ignorant and don't choose to do the research, why people are lied to so that they can keep the illusion going, so that they can still have the advantage and get your blood and your DNA. Okay? But now that a lot of people are waking up, that advantage is leaving. The other side is just like the episode with Hippolyta. The other side is basically naming where you want to go next, or being a spirit guide. As far as, like, say, if you don't want to manifest anywhere right now, but you want to be an influence, you can come back as an influence. You can come back like as a physical being, but you can name your next life. You don't even have to do it on Earth either. So that's why when Hippolyta said, I named myself Mother and I came back here, because there's no time. Okay. So when she named herself Mother, she came back to her original reality that she had, discovered that machine to help her name herself. And she came back and rejoined this reality again because she was able to name herself. So naming yourself means reincarnating or being present in, physical and spiritual or soul form by will. And see, when they teach you all this stuff in like the New Age, they'll use certain words like angelic instead of black. Okay. Which is not very helpful to a lot of people. Imagine if they changed the word angelic to black, how different the world would be. But they have to use the code word to keep the physical power on the planet. Because that's their only ticket back into the cosmos, is to have power down here. Because if you knew who you were, you'd be like, I don't want, So it's a way to, it's a ticket. It's a way to get a ticket back into the cosmos if you keep the power down here. until there's no more need for that type of power, until the heaven and the earth become one, basically, until all races become one, then you don't need that type of power. Or, I explained the curse of the daughter earlier, so just rewatch this. I don't really want to keep going over the same thing, but I said it in the beginning. So has a lot to do with pineal gland and bodily fluids, and the view of the stereotypical view that some people have of Black people. Okay, merging into your own reality in your own mind has a lot to do with self-hate, and also absorbing someone else's thoughts as your own via bodily fluids. So this is another reason why people in abusive relationships who are sleeping with their abuser start to have low self-esteem and think of themselves as the abuser thinks of them. And they have no control, or they feel like they don't have a lot of control over the negative thoughts that are in their head, or the way that they feel about themselves, is because they've been mentally abused, physically abused, and spiritually abused by absorbing this person's bodily fluids. And so now you feel what they feel about you. That's why on the first sign of disrespect, people should be like, you ain't gonna do that to me, and spit on their forehead. Okay. Not literally, because that's not literal, but like when they get your bodily fluids in them, that's why a lot of women like put that stuff in that spaghetti. Then however you think of them is how they start to think of themselves. So a lot of women are doing stuff in reverse, like when they put the menstrual blood in the food or the drinks or whatever to kind of control their partner. It should be how you want to be viewed by that person, not what you want them to do. So, just so you know. Little tip. Yeah. That's why they want DNA for testing, right? But at the same time, so your spit, like when you do the DNA test and you spit in it, they might can use that spit to put their intentions in and have it evaporate into the heavens all they want. But when it gets up into the ionosphere, and the intention, only the intention that I had would go through. You know what I'm saying? Because there's several layers now of certain people that have been being murdered unjustly, killed unjustly, that are now the guardians of the gates. So I don't think that they're going to let certain things get through. Okay? So that's why they say either way, it's going to backfire, because the new guardians are not, going to see the same as the old guardians. Okay, these new guardians are the people that have been recently oppressed and killed. Their souls are up there creating the gates, and they're hungry. That's what they call it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Sounds like all the celebrities know. Why don't all white celebrities that know marry Black in this case? Why do all the creepy gross? Because a lot of them just have secret Black children, or they adopt a child and drink their blood because they want to keep the privilege of this world. Okay, but some of them are marrying different races, so that's why. Hmm. What path should we take? What's the thing to do? Well, it depends on if you want to rise or fall. That's the path you take when you create offspring. I think I have been spiritually abused. I'm sorry. Well, that's why in a lot of spell work, people say, well, get some of their DNA or get some of their da 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 da, blood or whatnot, because you can use that to program their DNA and da, da, da. It's better if they ingest it. That's why you saw in Lovecraft Country that they were always drinking the bodily fluid, because it's not the same as just working with the fluid or the DNA. It's not as powerful as if they have it within them, because then it will start to vibrate from within. And so it'll become like that inner frequency or that inner voice. So that's why you saw a lot of the drinking of the bodily fluids. And so you'll see a lot of celebrities on Instagrams talking about make your plans to vote. Okay, that means make your plans and register to vote. That means go get your test, make sure you ain't got no diseases. Make your plan of who you're going to sell your blood to and go devote yourself to them. Or make sure that they devote themselves to you. That's what the real vote is. The political aspect of it is the illusion. So when they announce it's election time, all the people in the secret societies, they get their little plans together, go get their little DNA test, go get their little AIDS test, or get their little transmission test, their hepatitis test. They start, getting all their tests together and their paperwork together. And then they go find someone, that, oh, do you need opportunity? Do you need to you want to be on our new show? You want a record deal? Okay, well, sell me some of your blood and I'll give you this contract. This is the time to devote yourself or be devoted to. If you are high up, like Beyonce or Jay-Z, you have people coming to devote themselves to you and give their influence, give their privilege to you, give their inside information to you so that you can rise higher. So that's what Jay-Z did. Jay-Z played the game, but now he has people reporting back to him because he has devotees. Okay. So it's like he has eyes on both sides. That's when they had the eye of Ra and the eye of this. This means I only got eye on this side. When they go like this, it means I got eyes on both sides. I got devotees. Okay. So just put this in slow motion and listen to it a couple of times, like on that part, if you're not understanding that. But it basically means you are able to move on both sides. You have knowledge of mergers that may happen, movies, or who they're excluding, why they're excluding them, inside information on deals before they actually go through, so you can go and counteract and get that deal instead. So it's kind of like that in the physical. So this is what the whole voting and election, that's why you have so many celebrities that are saying vote or die. They're saying, well, you need this blood in order to live. You need this blood in order to transcend and to vibrate on a higher frequency, because they're introducing new technology now, which is 5G, and they even show it on the commercial. Did y'all see that 5G commercial where that lady turned on her phone and that huge wave just went whoosh through the whole planet? That was like the huge, frequency. So if you're watching TV, you'll probably see it. Let's see if I can look it up. So yeah, that's how it goes. And a lot of the messages are coded in people's music. They tell everything in their music in code. As a Black person, the darker you are, the more melanin you got. So if you have oral sex with someone and they ingest your secretions, you are helping them. That's right. That's why Kanye West said, bow to your knees for the offering. Anyway, I think it's that Kids See Ghosts Sometimes, or some other song. Fourth Dimension. That's what it's called. Go listen to it. So, yeah, Kanye West be telling it all. Y'all should listen to his Nah 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 song. Okay, so I think it's the AT&T commercial, the 5G AT&T. Which one is it? Not that one. Is it AT&T? I don't know which one it is. Could be T-Mobile. Do I think Beyonce has enough melanin? She's heaven and the earth. She's the mix. She can go either way. Um, so that's what they mean by bringing the heavens and the earth together, by having both. Do you think our cosmic abilities will become more apparent in the physical with the shift or remain quantum? Well, as the earth ascends in frequency, more of your abilities will be able to be used. I'll say that. Okay. I don't remember the name of that commercial, but maybe it was Samsung. I don't know. No, maybe it's the iPhone 12 commercial. I think that's an iPhone 12 5G commercial. I think it's this one. Hold on, let's see it. It's called Meet iPhone 12, I think. Let's see. Let's see if it's this one. Maybe not. It's not this one. I don't know which one it is, but it's one where it has like this cosmic blast that goes out of it. It's kind of cool. It's for 5G, whatever. One of them commercials. You saw it too? It's the iPhone? Okay. Well, if y'all find it, let me know. I'll post it. Or I'll look for it and post it later in the community section. You said Beyonce is not more mixed than any of you are. Well, see, her mom is Creole. And so Creole is very interesting. And then Jay-Z, we don't know what he got on his side. But you gotta research that Creole bloodline. It's very interesting. Okay, they created a whole race of themselves. And they do have a lot of Rh negative blood. So if she has a certain amount of a certain amount of melanin in her DNA, if she has the Rh negative aspect of it, then she qualifies as that. Then she has Jay-Z, which I'm sure he has more melanated DNA, which she's constantly probably absorbing as well. And then her children. So it's kind of like creating that type of bloodline race over and over within itself. Okay, so it's a very strong version of that race, or the Ark of the Covenant race that's being implemented over and over. Okay. Yep, she said Jay-Z has Rwanda in his bloodline, or he could be drinking Rwanda blood. We don't know. I mean, they were in Africa. So, okay. And they usually call this wine. When they talk about wine, it's really blood, because that's what Jesus used as a metaphor for blood, was wine. And the chalice represents the female womb, and the bread represents the male anatomy, or the body of a Christos, the body of someone who had both. The body of someone who had both, and the wine of someone as well. So you have the offspring, the DNA. It you don't have to get too deep into, what about this and what about that. You know what you have. Mhm. Um, it doesn't matter if you get your DNA tested or not. That's not the point of it. The point is, um, either stay one way or become both. But the intention is never to fall unless you choose to. It's a sacrifice in that point. So if you choose to fall, it's a sacrifice. If you only choose to rise or mix, then it's not a sacrifice. You see, the sacrifice would be from the other side. The white side would sacrifice their um, their side of being white anymore, but it's not really even a sacrifice. That's why they call the Christ or the angels saviors. Okay, because they're helping you rise back up to the cosmos so that you can manifest at will or name yourself at will into whatever reality you choose. Because a lot of people are under the misinformation that you can ascend and go and live in any, and reincarnate into any universe or type of being that you choose, but that's not for everybody. And so the church will tell you that, the New Age will tell you that, but they won't tell you how to do it. Or what you need in order to do that. They will leave out the most important information. So all you will have is the hope, the dream, and then the spiritual disappointment in the afterlife. So they get all your hopes up and tell you things, but they don't tell you the truth unless it's in code. And if you don't know how to decode, you go to church every Sunday, or you log on to your favorite new age, person online, and you say, "Oh, I'm going to ascend and I'm going to reincarnate and come back as a this and that," but you probably aren't going to be able to do that unless you have offspring or DNA that is going to be reborn into a eumelanated body. So that's the trick that they forget to tell you about. They don't tell you that. Because the reason why they don't tell you that is because if certain powers that rule the earth lose all their people, they would have no one to rule over. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they don't want everybody to mix or become, melanated, because they can all leave and create things at will. But if they don't have anyone to trap or keep here or control, then they have no power over the planet anymore, because there's no one to control or fool. So in reality, the people that are trying to rule over everybody, both black and white. They won't give them the truth. And it's almost like, unless you really seek knowledge and figure it out for yourself, you're going to be what they call trapped or enslaved spiritually by the earth. Hmm. So, and when you get this information, now you understand why you have, certain people doing certain things. As long as I have black children, I'm okay. As long as they keep reproducing in that direction, and it's called the right direction because it's right on the electromagnetic spectrum. It's to the right, which is the more energetic, higher frequency. So the more melanin you have, the higher your energetic frequency is. So that's why they always say righteous, or to the right, or your right hand, because it represents the higher frequency of the electromagnetic spectrum, which allows you to leave out of the planet like a rocket, versus, something that doesn't have a lot of speed or thrust. It will just be sent right back down. When it hits that ionosphere, it will shatter. Okay. That's why in the Bible they said something about the children or the infants would be slashed or dashed into pieces. That represents getting to the ionosphere and, being dashed into pieces. Infants represent someone who is not in the final stage of life, which represents the less melanated people, or the white people, or the people that don't have enough of that melanin frequency to get out and blast through. Okay. And they've allowed, like, there's supplements, people's blood you can drink, frequency wise, that's what a lot of these celebrities are doing. Even when you manifest and you speak, remember, when you speak, your voice has liquid particles. That's how diseases become airborne, which have plasma in them. So when you speak and that vibration gets into the atmosphere and the water and then the plasma and into the cosmos, that's how you also manifest. So that's very important when you speak. And this has nothing to do with who's better or who's worse. It's all about knowledge. That's it. That's why it was forbidden. That's why knowledge was forbidden. It's not who's better or who's worse. It's about knowledge, because we have people that don't know this, that are, living a whole life based on information that was given to them versus what they have learned and researched for themselves. And they may have been going in the total opposite direction of the direction that they were supposed to be going in order to accomplish certain things. But since they didn't have the knowledge or never wanted to seek it, they're in the same boat. So a lot of people, black and white, all races, are in the same boat if they don't have this knowledge. So it's not about who's better or who's worse. It's who has the knowledge. It's not about who's inferior or who's inferior. It's about who has the knowledge. Because even as a person with higher frequency that can go in and out of this reality, we still need a physical body and a physical earth to live out this reality in this physical form. Okay. And there just happened to be someone that, a group of people that understand this and use it to their advantage to keep people here, as well as to trap people in order to keep this thing going, and also in order to get themselves a ticket out. And sometimes they'll trade their power for someone. So, for example, if you have a world ruler, like, let's just say somebody that is real high up, super rich, and you have someone that's fallen, you have a black person, and they make a deal. Look, you want to take my position on earth? Then we need to exchange. So they'll exchange, and this person will fall through their bloodline, through their offspring, and this person will rise through the other person's offspring. Okay. So then you'll trade places until you want to do it again. It's kind of like the same thing, role playing. So you can change, but you got to figure out how to get back out if you don't have this knowledge, or if it's lost. That's why a lot of the secret societies pass this knowledge onto their children, and they go to like these special private schools where they learn all this stuff, and they're taught the code, and they're taught the rituals, and they're taught all of this stuff, and the blood and all that kind of stuff. They teach them that in a lot of these secret societies, so that they have the choice and the knowledge to whether they want to rise or fall. Okay. So you got the knowledge and it's been passed down to you. You know what direction you're supposed to be going. That's why you have a lot of arranged marriage, secret children, and stuff like that in these high society, occult, secret societies. Yes. That's why Trump said he has a higher education than Joe Biden. He sure do. He sure does, because Trump speaks all in code. And what he's really saying is not the same thing. And Joe Biden, he knows a little bit of code, but not as much as he should. And he also is more racist and stands for the system to keep people trapped, as well as he was for segregation. Remember? And even Kamala Harris, who's running as his vice president, said that um, the buses that he was trying to stop from getting into certain neighborhoods was the same buses she took to get educated. So if it wasn't, if it was his choice, she wouldn't have been educated. A certain, so she called him out on his racist, you know, thinking, and so have many other people. And if you really think about it, if you try to keep people segregated, it's to keep power on one side. If you really think about this spiritually, he was for segregation. I don't know if he's awake back then, but if he was, which I'm sure he was, if he was into government and politics, if he understood what that meant, it means he wanted to continue to have the advantage over people in order to use them, but also keep them from the knowledge. If you really think about it. Okay. So then now let's look at Trump. You go back and look at all the photos of him online. He's always talking to Black people. He's always, hugged up with some Black person in a picture. He had Michael Jackson as his friend that lived in Trump Tower, and you see him with like all the celebrities, and he had Omarosa and Nene Leakes and LaToya Jackson, and all them people on his shows and stuff. And so if you really look at it, there's only one person that has a true agenda to keep a ruling system over everybody, not just Black people, but everybody. Okay. He said he would raise taxes. You know what raise taxes is for in code? Raising taxes is raising the price of how much you have to pay to live on this earth. Now, who's of the earth? Okay, so you're going to be more is going to be taken from you from the earth, which represents white supremacy or the people that are in charge of these deals. So you're going to be required to give more than you are going to receive. Okay. Trump said he ain't about to raise no taxes, A, B, C, and D. So when someone says they're going to raise taxes, it's code for your life's going to be harder if you have a certain skin tone. Your life's going to be harder. You're going to have to pay more and get less. And this is exactly why they run Democrats, and they teach you to vote Democrat over and over and over, because you're voting for your own life on earth, and they're tricking you. Okay, you're voting for someone to keep you at a lower level materially. Okay, even the celebrity deals are going to be off balance, according to quote unquote Joe Biden. Okay, that's why 50 Cent said he didn't want to become 20 cents. Exactly. So you need to learn code. The whole Lovecraft Country show is about all these secret societies and how they need us. And if the veil is continuously pulled over your eyes because you don't care, then you will continue to be exploited by people you think are on your side. And ain't nobody on your side but you. Everybody else is at your mercy. Thank you, Herb, Derp, Sprinkle, Sprinkle. I'll repeat that. There's no one on your side. There's only people at your mercy, and people who are pretending to be people who want you at their mercy. That's all that there is. There's only people that want you at their mercy in the physical, and people that are actually at your mercy, both physically and spiritually. So you got to understand who's who, because they will fool you. They will pull veils over your eyes. They will lie to you. They will do this, this, and that. But at the same time, this is why I say you don't have to vote. At the same time, you're still being tricked by even voting, because If you don't vote for neither or anybody, you don't devote yourself to a system or a type of person or anything. You are more concerned about how you're going to create or name the life you desire instead of worried about everybody else trying to get a piece of you that you're not even aware of. So do not if you're going to understand something, understand it. If you're going to make a deal or devote yourself to somebody, have a plan on how to get out of it, get the most out of it, and reverse it, like a Jay-Z or somebody like that. Okay. But any other thing, if you're going in blindly, you could get lost, or you could forget who you are, or you could make a bad deal and end up, you know, suffering for it physically, through, financial issues or legal issues or whatever. Okay, so be smart and know thyself and know who you are and why people need you, why you're sprinkled and scattered all over the planet to preserve your DNA in some form or fashion somewhere else through the military. Because they know y'all going to go out and make babies and stuff like that. It's just a given. Thank you, Herb Derp, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So, understand who you are. The mark of the beast. Well, like I said, there's two ways. There's a cosmic mark of the cosmic beast and a physical mark of the physical beast, which would represent a white person and a black person. So if you are going to be a physical mark of a beast, well, you won't be able to buy groceries without it. You won't be able to go to school without it. It sounds like a mask to me. It sounds like a mask or an illusion or a veil to me. So the mask to me could be the mark of the beast. Okay. Also, the cosmic mark of the beast would be your melanin or the frequency. That's why this is going to be in your forehead, which is, your pineal gland, your crystalline melanin in your pineal gland, and in your hand. You see the brown marks? That's what it is. So the physical mark of the beast could be a veil that covers you. That you can't go, the mark of the beast, you can't go do this without, you can't buy food, you can't go to school, you can't, go into the city without it. It could also be a skin tone, a mask, a physical mask, a physical white body. So that's what the mask is representing as far as the theatrical version of it. That's why you have the comedy and the tragedy mask in theater, because one is this way and one is that way. The truth lies somewhere in between. Okay, so a chip can't be a mark of a beast. Like a lot of people think that, but it can't really be a mark of the beast because that RFD chip or whatever, it's the same. It's a physical creation of you melanin and your own DNA. Okay. So, the mark of the beast is them trying to recreate melanin in their own bodies to mimic the cosmos. So you don't need it if you have you melanin. You understand? Everything that is created via studying the cosmos, period. Everything that is created scientifically by studying the cosmos. Understand this? Okay? So, whatever the mark of the beast is, you don't have to worry about it. You said a menstrual blood spell to make a man commit. Does it work? Do you think? First of all, it depends on your frequency. See, there's a lot of science involved in this that they don't also tell you in spell work either. Like if you really break it down scientifically, um, are you committed to him? Okay, so that is going to go in his mind. Um, she's committed to me, or she's committed to me, so I'm committed to her. But at the end of the day, if you don't keep giving him that to keep that frequency going, then his own blood and his body and his own DNA, his own thoughts are going to start to dominate over that. And it will become like a war inside. And his DNA and blood may be stronger because there's more of it in his physical body. So that's why you say a lot of times spells backfire because that person, if they feel the exact opposite of what you're trying to put into them, they're going to be at war with themselves and they're going to be almost bipolar when your effects wear off. You see? So they must be on a similar frequency. They must be thinking about committing. They must maybe want to commit to you in some form or fashion. Some of it must be their will as well in order for them to keep from warring within and then having the whole thing backfire on you or having you constantly have to put this intention back into them using, this method. So just really think about it. Thank you, Herb Derp. Do you believe in psychics and reincarnation? I definitely believe in reincarnations, and I think psychic is just picking up on frequencies and energies that are on a higher level or a different frequency that you are able to communicate or, I guess, understand or pick up on. So anybody can be psychic. It just depends on their frequency. But I don't believe people that are just going to make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. I would call psychic more sensitive versus, oh, I'm going to tell you the future. Unless they're reading signs and they understand what is to come, they understand code and they understand what's coming. If they've read all the ancient texts and see that it's being fulfilled and played out in different roles, then you could say, okay, well, I'm a psychic because I know exactly what's going to happen because I know how to decode. I mean, either way, you know the information that someone else's need. How you present that knowledge is up to you. If you want to present it as a psychic, if you want to present it as somebody who could decode and see stuff, it's up to you. Everybody has their own niche of how they want to present themselves. How long do you think reincarnation cycle is? However long you want it to be, it's depending on who you are. Until you can mix out of your own limited version of reincarnation through, I just explained this whole thing, but thank you, Karen Sprinkles. Basically, I'll just break it down again. Until a white person becomes black, they can't control their reincarnation cycle. Okay. There you go. Or brown, black or brown. Okay. Dark brown, medium brown. Is that better? Okay. So you guys, when I say black, remember there's not a race of black. It's just what is considered eumelanated. I'll just say eumelanated. Until you become eumelanated, you can't control your reincarnation cycle. There you go. Why is black angelic and white low vibration? Because if you look at someone, I said this earlier, with the goggles, spectrum goggles, black people radiate brighter than white people would in these spectrum goggles because they have a higher frequency. because they are electromagnetic and from dark energy from the cosmos. That's what you melanin is. That's what dark skin is. Okay. The less of this you have, the less you are of the cosmos. But you can get it back through mixing into that race. So that's why you see a lot of people trying to take those melanin injections. That's why you see Donald Trump in that tanning bed taking them injections, drinking, black people's blood or whatever. He's been doing the UV therapy through the tanning beds and melanin injections for several years to try to build up his own melanin, plus probably drinking black people's blood. That was probably, of course, purchased. I don't know. And using this type of Regeneron therapy. And also, you guys, 5G does increase your melanin as well. So I apologize if you already answered this, but is there anything I can do to ensure that I don't have to reincarnate? But yep, turn black, baby. Have some black offspring, or tell your offspring to marry black, sprinkle, sprinkle, or brown, dark brown. People keep asking the same questions, but that's the only way. You can try to cheat by, ingesting other people's blood all the time when you manifest and when you're about to die, whatnot. But at the end of the day, that's the guaranteed way, Thank you, The Real Dana. If you are cremated, can that hinder you in being reincarnated? No, because they usually wait 3 days, and that's how long it usually takes for the plasma to leave your body in soul form. So just have them wait 72 hours before the cremation. Or if you don't want to be cremated, it's whatever, But still, like, if you don't get cremated and you get embalmed and then put in a sealed casket underground in a cement vault, how is your plasma going to get out still? Okay. They still keeping you. They trapping you in a trap in a grave. So that's why Drake said, I put my money in a grave. So anyway, if you're modern, like, that's why Muslims want to be buried without all of those things, without touching a casket, without being sealed into anything. If you request wood versus cement vault or a bronze vault when you're buried, I know y'all don't know a lot about this. I used to be a mortician, but it's less likely you'll be trapped. And also, when you are embalmed, your blood is drained and poured down a sewer with everybody else's blood. Not the sewer, there's a separate sewer for medical waste. So I would never get embalmed if I were you. But if they wait 72 hours before they embalm you, then your plasma can get up out of there. Okay. And this is why, like, I was drawn to become a mortician, because I knew that there was knowledge there that I didn't have. And I was very curious about that. And now that I know the process and what they do and how things are disposed of and how long they wait before they do certain things, I understand now why. And I see the corruption and I see the agendas behind a lot of stuff, because exactly what it is. Someone just died the same day and you call the funeral home. They take the deceased person to the funeral home and they embalm them the exact same day while they're still warm. The plasma has not had a chance to actually chemically leave your body in order to manifest into the cosmos, or rise up into the ethers. Your blood is going to be drained warm and mixed with water, as well as whatever else is in the biomedical waste sewer. That's why on Ghostbusters 2, y'all remember that sludge in the sewer? Okay, there you go. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Go back and watch Ghostbusters too. All right. Don't get embalmed. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'd rather be cremated after 3 days or buried straight on the earth or even in a tree or something like that. Why drain a person's blood? To put the embalming fluid in its place to preserve the body in order for it to be safe and sanitary for the funeral viewing. You don't have to be embalmed if you have a closed casket with no funeral viewing. If your casket is hermetically sealed, which then also defeats the purpose. So your best option is direct burial with a wooden, if they make wooden. Sometimes cemeteries don't offer it, with a wooden, what they call vault. Some people don't do it, so right. Just get cremated and wait 3 days before they cremate you. That's the best option these days. Right. But see, like even in the pine box, they seal you in a concrete box so that when these tractors roll over the cemetery and the graves, it doesn't sink in and squish your body. You see? So it's like they put you in a casket and then they put you in a sealed cement erected box or a bronze, whatever you could afford. So you're sealed in. All that stuff sealed in. And if you were embalmed, your blood's somewhere in the sewer system. And just letting y'all know. So get cremated, allow them to wait 3 days before burning your body, and you should be good. Okay? 6 feet deep is so they can't smell your dead body. They used to do that before they don't even bury people 6 feet deep anymore. That was before they used vaults and sealed caskets. But now it's more like 3 to 4 feet or 4 feet. Can donating organs after death interrupt reincarnation? Yes. That's why I don't believe in donating organs. Yes, because, okay, so let's say you donate a heart or kidneys or livers or whatnot. Your part of your plasma is in that organ. Part of you is in that organ. And when it gets into someone else's body, some of you is in that body. Okay. And if you don't have enough thrust, if all your plasma ain't collected in a similar way in a group, then you're not going to have enough thrust to leave because some of your plasma is here, some of your plasma is there. So you're just lacking the amount that you probably need in order to get out. But I would say if you're going to donate any organs, it should be to your own family members or someone in your DNA pool. You know what I'm saying? So. You want your ashes to be mixed with your dog, girl? You need to have some kids. Like, honestly. But, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but to have connection to animal that deep is to show that, remember when I talked about the mammal and the serpent? Well, there are people that are more mammalian than they are a mix or of a reptile. And when I say reptile, I don't mean something bad, or because you can translate the word serpent or, snake into star, which means you are starborn or you are cosmically born. So in the first goddess in the Egyptian pantheon to leave a certain cosmic star system was Apophis. Actually, it was an eel, but it's snake-like in nature. So you have to understand that reptilian does not mean bad necessarily, and it's only bad because certain people stole that bloodline and use it for bad. Okay, but a reptilian or a cosmic serpent or a star being represents an angelic being or a cosmic being. So when you have a affiliation more towards animals, it represents your mammalian DNA coming through even more. When you have an affinity for animals, okay? If you are cremated, does that stop or hinder your chances to reincarnate? Will you please? I told y'all 3 days and you're good. Wait 3 days before they touch your body and you're good. There you go. There you go. Okay. Thank you, Sprinkle Sprinkle. So 3 days and then you're good, Sea Star. You said you don't have an affinity animal, but yeah. And so here's the deal. A lot of people don't have kids or close to like families or people, so they grow close to their animals. But to be intermingled with an animal is like to have your ashes mixed with animal. Like I couldn't understand that relationship. Like I don't understand. I don't understand that relationship. I don't even want to be intermingled with another human. So I don't understand that. But if that's how you feel about it, then that's how you feel about it. That goes back to the genetic engineering roots, by mixing stuff together to, create hybrids. Maybe that's, kind of coming through, but in reverse. But I feel that the best thing to do is to honor if you love animals, honor them, respect them, and treat them good, but don't, try to get to the point where you see them more divine or important as actual people. Okay. That's a lesson that, a lot of people learn, but it's just true. You just want to be with your dog when you die. Girl, I don't know about them dog relationships. I'm not a dog person. I have a dog, but he's a dog. He don't act like he's not a human. He's a dog. He got a cage. He goes in the backyard. He has a collar. He can't jump on the couch. He's a dog, baby. He's not a person. And I don't, I have a cat. She's a cat. She has a litter box. She eats in a bowl. I don't lick nothing in the mouth. I might kiss her on the head, but she's still an animal to me. All right. So thanks. But, I understand love for pets, but they're pets. That's it. That's all they are. Yes, they have a personality. Yes, they have, a soul, but there are different levels. There's different levels. You have some family treat their animals better than their siblings. Crazy. Well, if you think about it, if you read any religious texts, any ancient texts, you'll never find gods, angels, or higher up human beings putting animals before people. Okay? You will never see that. You will never see their affinity and love on that level for animals. They treat animals as animals because they understand the hierarchy in the soul system. Thank you, F. Smith. Is there a spiritual significance to your appendix bursting? You can look it up and Google it. I never looked that up, but I'm sure that there is. It could be something to do with diet or your DNA. Also, we don't need the appendix anymore. We've evolved. We've been hybrid created to not even need that anymore. Do you inherit karma from your ancestors who owned slave plantations? Your fifth great grandmother married a black man to create a melanated bloodline. No, because that would be the same story as Lovecraft Country. That would be the same story. Like, most people have slave DNA. I mean, white DNA who have been in America enslaved. They already have it because that was the plan for white people to ensure their cosmic freedom later on down the line. So we don't carry that karma. You know what I'm saying? Because we create what we want. So we would be able to name ourselves like Hippolyta when we leave this planet, or when we try to manifest. We can do that. So there is no karma. The only karma is the one you accept, or the one you take, or the whatever you're brainwashed with to have karma for. So that's why I say karma is not for everybody. It's for certain people that don't know who they are. Have you done a video breaking down Christianity in the past? A long time ago, yes, but it's all the same. Like, Christianity and Satan worship is all the same. They just use different words. If you take some of the words and switch them around with people that are on the planet, you'll have the true story. You take that word. If you take angel and flip it with black people, you'll have the truth. If you have, just like the word Anunnaki is, cosmic people, sky people, from the heavens. Angelic people are from the heavens. It's cosmic beings that incarnate into physical bodies, or cosmic influences or ancestral influences from the cosmos. It's all the same thing. Everything is the same. Okay. Everything is the same, but just put in different words. Everything. Thank you, Opulent OD Divinity. Please decode my name. I don't decode names, but Sprinkle, you can go look that up on Google. What name meanings mean. If your name doesn't show up, then you need to break your name apart. Like, D means of, lay means the. So you need to look up Shay and Aura. Okay, Sprinkle. Thank you, girl. Look up Shay and look up the word aura. Aura. I think you already know what aura means. Right. So every religion on the planet is the exact same, except they use different vocabulary and code. Because if it's of earth, if your religion is of earth, it's all the same. That's why you have to listen to your intuition. And you have to have a high enough frequency to pick up on signals on a higher frequency that's not of the earth, if you want truth. Okay. But we all rely on someone else for our survival. Life is survival. That's true. Can you break down birthmarks and what they mean? I don't really want to get into that because that's more of superstitious. So I rather stick to science and alchemy and the occult sciences and knowledge. So whatever you think they mean, that's what they mean. You know what I'm saying? So hmm um, I was hanging out with a male friend who told me he got blackout drunk the night before, and I thought that's a demon. Is it possible that he got possessed? um, well, I mean, alcohol. Go look up what the word alcohol means, and you'll have your answer. So, thank you. So anyway, yeah, wine and spirits, blood and denatured alcohol. It's like yes, um, you will be possessed. It does change your frequency and allow other things on that similar frequency to affect you. That's why I don't drink no more. Ooh. Mm-hmm. 2021. Can I predict 2021? 2021 depends on you. What you create in 2020 is what 2021 is going to be. Okay. Did you get woke in 2021? Do you believe the veil being pulled over your eyes? Do you believe the coronavirus? Do you believe um, this? Do you believe that? Do you believe it's the end? Do you believe it's revelations? What do you believe? Do you thank you, Dorinda Sprinkle Sprinkle? You're 35 weeks pregnant and you're told you have a dot shot so the baby is immune plus a flu shot. Is that necessary? No, it's not. Sprinkle Sprinkle. Refuse all that crap. Okay? Don't take that stuff. Like, listen to yourself. Okay? Back in the old days, nobody had no flu vaccine and people still made it here. The flu shot is the flu. How about that? Please don't do that. Tell them, no thanks. I don't need none of them shots. Period. And before you go to the hospital, when you go to the hospital to sign up, if you're having your baby in the hospital, tell them you don't want no vaccines and where the paper you need to have amended or signed so that when your baby is born, you don't have to give it vaccines. Go do that before you give birth, okay? Because they will require you to have your baby vaccinated before they allow you to leave with it if you sign paperwork saying that you're going to vaccinate. So go fix that. Okay. Um, right. Don't take the flu shot. You don't need a flu shot. Okay. Stop believing anybody that's trying to get access to your body. Okay. There's a reason they're pushing it. They want access to your body, baby. Don't do it. You don't know what's in there. It might not be a vaccine. It might be their DNA trying to hitch a ride with you, baby. I don't put that in you. What do you think about abortion? Is it immoral or is it okay because the baby will reincarnate? I enjoy listening to you. Thank you, Sprinkles. Well, it depends on your level of consciousness. Thank you, Herb Derp, and thank you, Winterglow. It depends on your level of consciousness. I gotta go in a few minutes. And what you believe and who you are. Thank you, Holistic. You're deeply stirred by the image and final scenes with the cutting of the arms, bathing in his blood and sucking his soul. Girl, he was just the Christos figure, the Jesus figure, basically. He sacrificed his blood because that blood will make you immortal. Basically, black blood makes you immortal. Okay, so anyway, unless you get out in the cosmos and name yourself like the Hippolyta episode. So abortion depends on who you are and what stake you have in reincarnating. So let's say your ancestors were raped by the master of the plantation, right? And he or she or whoever may want to reincarnate back into a eumelanated bloodline, right? And maybe depending on what time he wanted to reincarnate, if it was at this time, and let's say the mother decided to get an abortion, that spirit or soul could not be reborn through that mother until the next time she decides to get pregnant. So it's kind of like stalling or stopping the rebirth, but also at the same time, it could be a black person trying to reincarnate into into their offspring in order to accomplish something at a certain time. But the mother, the female vessel, is always in control because she possesses the gateway. So no matter what and who trying to come through the womb, it's always the woman who is saying yes or no, above and below. So however you think about it, it's always up to the woman, period. She knows when and when not to let energies through her vessel. She'll feel it inside. She'll know. She'll make that decision. She will be influenced, as well as if she has stem cells, she has dark matter energy in her womb. She is directly connected to the cosmos, especially if she is a eumelanated woman. She knows what to bring through and what not to bring through, you know. And like I said, it always backfires because when people try to take melanin and they get the babies from the abortion clinic to ingest or make some type of medicine with, it's still going to backfire anyway, because that has to be consciously given in order for it to work. What do you think about putting herpes in the chickenpox vaccine? A lot of people, I don't know. I think people shouldn't take vaccines, period, because they're all experiments, genetic experiments. Thank you, Crystal. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So yeah, that's what I think about it. I think it's always the woman's option because you know best for what's for you. No intelligent person can know what's in vaccines and find the ingredients conducive to good health. Yeah, I wouldn't take anything like that. So here's also the thing. So if slavery was the cause of poverty among certain people and lack of education, as well as Jim Crow laws, as well as white supremacy, then if they're trying to come through at this time, which they would be because it's a very important time, perhaps all the abortions in certain areas are the karma or the payback or the backfire of their plan. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, it was implemented at a certain time when abortion became legal in the States. You know, so why do you think it became legal at a certain time? Because that's when certain energies were going to try to come through. Physically, we don't need a physical energy to come through to save us. We have the connection to get the information to complete whatever tasks it is to complete ourselves. So anything that was going to physically come through was not going to be a savior of any kind of way, because we still can pick up on that knowledge and that information. Thank you, Keisha Sprinkle Sprinkle. I had an abortion about 6 months ago. Later, my sister gave birth to a daughter. Is that possible? I don't know. I mean, people give birth every day. It has nothing to do with an abortion. Sprinkle, sprinkle. But thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. That nothing has to do with that. Right. So it all depends on, everything happens for a reason. So that's why I said there's no use to feel guilt about anything or bad about a decision you made. That was your decision based on your level of your frequency. And if something told you not to bring that child into the world, then it was for the reason that you didn't bring it into the world. Okay. So you have to understand that you have to trust yourself. You are a woman. You are connected physically to the spiritual realm, and you know what to let in and what not to let in. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All right. I'll see you guys later. I gotta go. Bye.